Yes, these are the same girls and the same men you've come to know in gymnastics, but today they're going to be doing something different here in Minneapolis. Today we go indoors to the Target Center in downtown Minneapolis, site of the 1993 Subaru World Open Gymnastics Championships. Hello everybody, I'm John Neighbor, and today we welcome 8 of the finest gymnasts in the history of the sport, Olympic and world champions alike, who will be performing for the first time in a format that encourages not only athletic excellence, but also artistic impression, music included. And yes, there's prize money involved. To talk a little bit about the opportunities that provides, let's go to Bart Connor down at the pommel horse.
Thank you, John. You know, one of the things I've always thought was unfortunate about the sport of gymnastics is really there's no place for the athletes to go when they're finished with their world or Olympic competitions. Well, of course, some kids go into coaching, some might move out to Hollywood and do stunts for movies. But basically, other than being able to entertain your friends at parties by doing tricks, there's very little long-term benefit to having been a world-class gymnast. That is until now. Now, with the advent of touring shows and world open competitions like this, the gymnasts, much like the figure skaters, have an opportunity to extend their careers, compete for more than $80,000 in prize money, and at the same time entertain us in a whole new way. And for how this competition works, here's Kathy Johnson.
Bart, we've all heard the saying, dare to be different. Well, it takes on a whole new meaning here. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary competition. All the routines are scored from a 10. Every gymnast must perform at least a certain level of difficulty with good form and good execution, but that's about where the similarities end. Here, every routine must be performed to music. We'll see costumes, lights, dramatic lighting, props. The judges are looking for all of this, and they want to see something different because the emphasis is on entertainment. So let's sit back and enjoy the show, and we, along with the judges, will see who does the most difficulty and goes out on a limb creatively.
In the women's competition, 4 of the greatest names in the sport: Kim Zmeskal, America's reigning world champion, and the Olympic all-around champion Tatiana Gutsu. Of course, Henrietta Onodi from Hungary is worth watching. She won 3 medals in Barcelona. And Betty Okino, Kim Zmeskal's teammate on the U.S. Olympic squad, herself a world championship medalist. In the men's competition, it's Valery Liukin, a winner of 2 gold medals at the 88 Games, and his teammate Dmitry Bilozerchev, twice the world all-around champion. American Kurt Thomas, a world champion in 1978, and Paul O'Neill, a world finalist in 1992. Our first competition, the 4 exercise, and here is Valery Liukin, dressed as a cowboy.
Well, you can see right off the bat that Valery Liukin understands the concept here of entertainment gymnastics. I'm anxious to see what he can do dressed in jeans and suspenders and a cowboy hat.
But we're seeing a side of Liukin that we never knew existed.
Here we go. Oh, laid out double back. Great gymnastics.
And the music really has the crowd going too, Bart.
Oh, you can tell my lips, tell my fingertips, they won't be reaching out for you more.
As you can tell, this is all new for men's gymnastics. They don't normally perform floor exercise to music.
Maybe that'll be the new achy breaky heart dance.
And if you tell my heart, my achy
Liukin, at 26 years of age, now hails from New Orleans. He's been living there for the last year, running a gymnastics program.
Strong finish for Liukin. I can't believe that he can do all that gymnastics with a pair of jeans on.
Well, the crowd certainly appreciates this competition. To go over the rules briefly, men will be competing in 5 of the apparatus, women in 3 events, and the judging is scored against a perfect 10 possibility. Of course, degree of difficulty the same as the 92 Olympics, a possible 2.4 points. 2 judges will average the execution score for a total of a possible 3.6, but the big score is a possible 4 full points on artistic and theatrical impression. So that's what we'll be looking for, playing to the crowd.
Difficulty, unquestionably perfect, not 2.4.
So he gets the perfect degree of difficulty points.
5 out of 3.6. Artistic, 3.8. Score, 9.7.
And a great score, a 9.7. Of course, that puts him in the lead. Almost a perfect score for the first routine for Valery Liukin. Next up, American Kurt Thomas, once a world champion in the floor exercise.
And here's his opening move, the Thomas. Well done for a guy who's 37 years old, by the way. This style of competition really plays into the hands of Kurt Thomas. He's used to performing in touring shows, and he's a real entertainer, really likes to play to the crowd.
Olympian way back in 1976, he, as much as any gymnast, was hurt by the '80 boycott. He's still in the sport and still performing well.
Good finish with the music.
Kurt Thomas.
Yes. Now, this was the mount that Kurt used. He's the first to do this in international competition. 1.5 twists and 1 3/4 flips. Very complicated move.
So that gives him a score of 9.35 from the judges, 35 100ths behind Liukin. We'll be back with the women after this.
The Subaru World Open Gymnastics Championships, brought to you by the new Subaru Impreza, What to Drive. By Maybelline, maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline. And by the Diamond Anniversary Band. For your 10th anniversary, show her you'd marry her all over again.
Welcome back to the Target Center, everybody. The $80,000 of prize money is to be divided amongst the men and women according to the results in the all-around competition only. First place earns $15,000, $10,000 for second, $8,500 and $6,500 for the other two spots. The women's winner will also receive a pair of dancing diamond earrings. First athlete we'll see is 17-year-old Kim Zameskel. We asked her for her opinion on this new artistic form of competition.
I hope everybody is open to the ideas. You know, I think it'll help the sport grow some. It's a lot of fun, actually, with the music and choreography and costumes.
And the fun will also be evident when she dismounts and remounts the bars that's allowed in this form.
Kim said she was most nervous for this event. Here comes her first dismount. She tumbles out of it.
Clearly a crowd favorite here in Minneapolis.
Oh, she was a little bit behind the music. A little hard to time the music when you're on the uneven bars.
You can't speed up that rotation that easily. And of course, Bella Caroli, her coach, there with the hug.
Here's her first dismount. Pike double flyaway, and she tumbles right out of it underneath the low bar. Now, in traditional Olympic-style competition, that wouldn't be allowed. It'd be 0.5 of a point deduction. Here, it's perfectly acceptable.
So Kim Zameskel receives a 9.7 from the judges, 3.85 of those points on artistic impression. Henrietta Onodi, winner of a gold and a silver at the Barcelona Games.
I watched Henrietta warm up this event, and I really like this transition. It shows how beautiful gymnastics is and how elegant even the uneven bars are. Watch as she just smoothly goes into her uneven bar routine.
Onodi's been plagued with some back injuries of late, and some question was whether or not she'd be able to compete in this event.
This is the one event where it bothers her the least. Unfortunately, the other events are going to suffer.
The interesting thing about this format is that a normal bar routine is about 30 seconds long. With music and little choreography, it allows her to perform as much as 2 minutes on this event.
I don't know if you saw that little sneaky move. She just squatted down and got a little bit of water on her hands. I can't tell you the number of times I would have liked to have gotten down the middle of a routine, regrouped, rechalked, and finished. Dismount high, tuck double back. Nice routine.
Onodi, at 18 years of age, is the oldest competitor in the women's action. Been in the sport for 14 years.
I think it was a little bit harder for the women to really make that jump into trying to be in character and do some really wild things in this competition.
And so Onodi's marks turn out to be a 9.6. Very good, not quite enough to take the lead, but certainly still in the competition. So as we look at our standings after the first event, it's Kim Zmeskal over Onodi by 1/10 of a point, followed by American Betty Okino. Tatiana Gutsu, who fell off the bars, is now in 4th place. In the men's competition, Liukin leads over American Kurt Thomas and Paul O'Neill. Dmitry Bilozerchev is currently in 4th place. And now it's Liukin, dressed up as a caveman.
Oh my gosh. This you won't see at the Olympics.
These athletes select their own music and their own costumes.
Look at the great gymnastics. Terrific flares as he travels all the way across the horse. Not to mention in that wig and the beard. Oh! He fell off and he's just incorporating that into his routine. This is show business.
And the judges don't have to deduct full points. They can choose if he works it in nicely.
Bart, he's got to be tired. How would you like to do an aerobic dance before you perform on the pommel horse?
Oh, there he goes.
Off into the darkness.
This is where he fell off, and this was very creative. He just decided, hey, this is part of my caveman look.
And a very primal instinct there on the horse. You can score 9.85. Very strong points there. Dmitry Bilozerchev, his turn on the horse. More of a traditional performance.
And Bilozerchev was the Olympic champion on this event in 1988 in Seoul. And we talked with Bilozerchev before this competition. He came prepared to do world-class gymnastics, of course, but he didn't realize that some of the athletes were really going to go all out in terms of characterization and theatrics. So he's hoping to do well here based on just the strength of his elite gymnastics.
He's been a strong proponent for the sport for many years. He's starting to represent athletes and promote the sport overseas.
That's a great exercise. I'll be interested to see what the judges do with that, because that's completely different from what we saw from Liukin. Strong finish.
And the judges give him a 9.55, almost a perfect 10, except for the artistic scores. Here comes Kurt Thomas. He feels strongly that this format is helpful to his sport.
This is a concept that you can not only add costumes, but you can start bringing out the personalities in the gymnasts, not just on floor exercise where a girl dances and jumps around and plays and plays a little bit to the audience, but now you can grab the audience and say, hey, come with me into this routine. And I think this is where we not only need to go, this is where it's got to go.
Spoken as a true professional performer.
Bart, I think this is an excuse for them to show off their bodies.
Yeah, didn't he have some clothes on a few minutes ago? Kurt was a world medalist back 1979 on the pommel horse, and as we all know, tried to make a comeback and make the 92 Olympic team. Did not make it, but no one will forget the Thomas Flair. Here's the famous Thomas Flair that revolutionized pommel horse, added a lot of spice to this event.
So the Thomas marks 9.55, same as those received by Bilozerchev. So as we take a look at our standings in the men's competition after two events, it's Liukin leading, followed by Thomas, Bilozerchev, and O'Neill. Our next competitor on the rings is American Paul O'Neill, who considers this competition a great opportunity.
I mean, it's fun just to be here with guys like Bilozerchev and Liukin and Kurt. I mean, these are some of the greatest gymnasts of all time in men's gymnastics, so it's exciting.
Though he may not have the credentials of the others, many consider Paul to be the world's strongest gymnast.
Well, they can sit in awe of him on this event because he truly is probably the strongest we've ever seen.
Right on the music, a pop to an iron cross. Now keep in mind that judges aren't requiring the gymnast to do the traditional event requirements that you see in world and Olympic competition. So he told us he's going to fill this routine with strength moves because that's his forte. Look at that. A Maltese cross to an inverted iron cross. It's called an Olympic cross. Just amazing to do one of those, let alone 6 or 7 iron cross positions in one routine. What power.
O'Neal placed 4th at the World Championships in 1992 in the rings competition.
He tore his bicep a couple of years ago and had it reattached, and yet look how amazingly strong he still is, even after coming back from that injury.
O'Neal's marks a 9.45, the best marks in the rings thus far, and that sets the scene for the discovery of this competition, the showman, Valery Liukin.
Look at this guy, James Bond now.
That's right, a former Soviet as a British Secret Service agent.
Is he talking into his watch?
I think he's calling his coach over.
Oh, there's the holster. It's official. He's 007. And his coach is 008.
He really is getting into this. This is amazing. I talked with him the other day. He said he doesn't even have rings in the gym where he trains down in New Orleans, and he hopes if he wins some prize money here that he can buy some rings so he can train on these things.
Should be noted, Liukin is still very competitive, plans to compete at the World Championships in a few weeks.
Great dismount.
Explosive finish.
007, Valery Liukin.
And Bella Caroli agrees. It's a fabulous performance. And the mark, 9.65 for Liukin, the best score on the rings. And that'll help him in the standings. After 3 events, it's Liukin leading, followed by Thomas and Bilazurchev tied just a full point back, and O'Neal in 4th place. So now we move over to the balance beam, and here comes Kim Zmeskal, dressed in a chorus line sequence.
And this is perfect music choice for her.
She's uncommonly rare, very unique, parapathetic, poetic, and chic. She walks into a room, and you know from her
that sequence sparkles almost as much as the diamonds she's trying to win.
Can't help all of her qualities extolling. Loaded with charisma is my jolly sauntering.
She, more than most athletes, really had to get back into the gym and train for this competition, didn't she?
I tell you what, John, she worked extremely hard, 4 hours a day. She's doing almost all of her difficulty on beam and on floor exercise. And she's strutting it here. 2 layout step outs. Beautifully done.
On the sound of a gun, she is one of a kind. One singular sensation, every little step she takes. One thrilling combination.
How much harder is it to do the beam while thinking of the music and the rhythm of the music?
Fortunately, they become a little bit more accustomed to it because they're doing tours all over the country. Oh, no! And she covers it pretty nicely. Unfortunately, it's really hard to hide a fall on balance beam. She really has been a singular sensation. The only world all-around champion the United States has ever had. And she holds 3 world titles right now, all-around flow exercise, and this event, the balance beam. Here's the dismount, round off double back, the same one she did in Barcelona. Great finish with the music. I'll tell you what, it's got to be difficult timing this dismount, which is difficult enough, with the music, and she does it perfectly.
And Kim Zmeskal gets a 9.7 on the beam, tying the mark she received earlier. So her running total a 19.4. Next up is teammate Betty Okino.
Another beautiful music selection. Very appropriate for her type of movement. Long, beautiful lines. Look at the flexibility and control.
Okino, of course, with a history in dance, doing some part-time modeling now.
This used to be my playground. This used to be my childhood dream. This used to be the place I ran to whenever I was in need of a friend. Why did it have to end? And why do they always say, don't look back?
Here's her famous double turn. She actually performed a triple turn at the World Championships and had it named after her. It's called the Okino. One thing we need to mention, the routines are longer here. The gymnast must perform close to 2 minutes. Normally a beam routine is only a minute and a half. So 30 more seconds of concentration.
Hold on to the past. Well, that's too much to ask. This used to be my playground. This used to be my childhood dream.
And her dismount, a layout back. She didn't do as much difficulty as Kim, but of course she didn't have the fall. So it should be very close. There's that double turn. She has so much control. It's a very difficult dance element.
Well, the scores for Betty Okino, a 9.75. That's slightly better than Kim Zmeskal on the beam. Perfect both in difficulty and execution. Now the Olympic all-around champion, Tatiana Gutsu.
Tatiana had trouble on her first event, the uneven bars. And she's tiptoeing gently into this new format. I'm not quite sure of what she should do to fulfill that artistic and theatrical. Here's a very difficult mount. Round off onto the board. Layout step out up to the balance beam.
You might remember her with long, very blonde hair in Barcelona. Well, it was short and blonde the day before the competition started, and now it's a shade or two darker. Who knows, this 16-year-old might choose black for tomorrow.
Beautiful shot, so you can see exactly how narrow that balance beam is. taken out quite a bit of the difficulty in her routine, including the dismount. She'll perform the same dismount we saw Betty Okino do with one extra back handspring going into it. Well, Kim Zmeskal by far has done the most difficulty. Here's the best part of the routine, the mount. Round off, layout, step out. Very difficult, and that will certainly help her with that requirement.
Gutsu gets a 9.5. That won't move her up in the rankings, but it does bring her closer to the pack. Standings now, Zmeskal leads, followed by Okino. Then on P-bars next. As we join the parallel bars, Thomas and O'Neill have just completed their routines. Now it's Valerie Liukin. In a cape, oh, look at this. He's an extraterrestrial.
He told us the theme for this performance was an alien from outer space. But Kathy, it looks perhaps like another attempt at a male gymnast just to show off his body.
He only needs an 8.35 to keep his lead.
He really is fulfilling all the requirements: difficulty, execution, and the obvious artistic and theatrical merit.
Valerie Liukin.
Take a look at the flares on the end. Tremendous elevation over the bars. Excellent form. That's tough.
And now his teammate, Dmitry Bilozerchev, currently tied for second.
Once again, Bilozerchev basically without a costume, opting to go for a more traditional routine.
Liukin's score, by the way, a 9.55. That will solidify his lead at this point in the competition. Bilozerchev on parallel bars, interestingly enough, in 1985, was hurt in an automobile accident that almost required the amputation of his leg. Yet 2 years later, he earned his second all-around title. Remarkable.
This is an amazing routine, not the theatrics that we saw from Liukin, but great gymnastics.
Dmitry Bilozerchev.
A 9.6 from the judges, the best marks on the parallel bars for Bilozerchev, and that moves him past Thomas in the standings. Liukin still leads. We'll be back with more. The final event for the women, Betty Okino will be performing in the floor exercise wearing a skirt for the first time in competition.
I look like a waitress. I have a little skirt and a little slit up the side, so I mean the costumes make it a lot more interesting because usually everybody's just plain leotards, and we've got costumes sequence on it, and they suit, they fit the routine that we're doing usually, so it'll be different.
I think the gymnasts had the most fun putting together their floor routine. Pike double back. Beautifully done.
It's a very flamenco feel.
Skirt. I was teasing her. I ordered a Diet Coke and a French fries when she walked by.
It's time to jam.
And a change of pace.
And it looks like Okino's dance background is certainly proving helpful here.
Betty Okino.
Nice. Oh, look at that face. This routine is a lot longer than they normally go, and I think that face said it all.
Also, the floor exercise routines you might notice, 2 minutes
Here's her
long.
first tumbling run. It was really well done. Hike double back, beautiful form, and a great landing, even in the skirt.
And the judges give Betty Okino a 9.85, the highest score we've seen thus far in the competition, a 3.9 in artistic impression, by the way. Here's Tatiana Gutsu for the first time wearing something other than her normal competitive leotard.
This is a much more dramatic routine than the one she performed in Barcelona. Stumble on that second tumbling run. Really doesn't have the same level of difficulty we saw with Betty Okino.
So Gutsu acknowledges the response from the crowd. We'll bring you her score and Kim Zmeskel's final routine when we return.
This is the reigning world champion on floor exercise, Kim
Our final
Zmeskel.
performer in women's competition, Kim Zmeskel on the floor. Gutsu, by the way, scored a 9.2, losing 4/10 on the degree of difficulty himself.
And Kim has everything she needs in this routine to take the lead, but she's doing it very risky floor routine, 3 double backs in this routine. Here's the first one. She's got her poodle skirt on and she's ready to rock.
It's the same music she's used in the past very successfully. World Championship title. She needs a 9.7 to win it all. $15,000 plus the dancing diamond earrings.
And she lost the skirt. Here's her trademark pass. 3 whip backs through to a double back. And the crowd always loves that. Here's her third double back.
Now, the normal floor exercise would have been over by now.
Believe me, at this point, you wish it were. Here's the finish we all remember so well from Barcelona.
Kim Zmeskel
And the crowd loves it. And they love her, too. They're on their feet. They can tell this performance is certainly worthy of the victory. And there is Bella Caroli, always one of the first to give her a congratulatory hug.
Here's that famous pass. 3 whipbacks through the double back. So many gymnasts are trying to copy that now, but no one does it like Kim.
And the judges' marks, 9.9. Almost perfect and certainly well ahead of the crowd. She wins it all. $15,000 and a pair of diamond earrings.
That was 2 minutes of wild gymnastics.
And now our current leader in the men's competition, Valerie Liukin with the Mardi Gras theme. Very appropriate since he lives down there.
You know, when Paul Ziert and IMG created this event, they thought, let's come up with a way we can get these athletes out there longer than just the typical 30 seconds that you see from a high bar routine. So I don't think anybody had an idea that someone like Liukin would just turn on to this. Look at him, he's such a clown.
I want to know how much he had to pay his friend to get him to do that, too.
His friend, by the way, is his coach, Evgeny Marchenko. Together, they created these routines.
Evgeny's a world champion, too.
In sports acrobatics. After all that clowning around, let's see what he can do on the high bar. Here's a release move. Beautiful. Liukin has one of the best triple flyaway dismounts in the world. Let's see if he can do it. There it is. Whoa. Great exercise.
A lot of energy, and the dancing continues down there. His stuff. Well, he's having a wonderful time, and he's certainly involving the crowd with that.
Let's take a look at that triple. He over-rotated a little bit, and any human-like gymnast would probably sit down, but I don't know how he stood on his feet. What a talent.
Total 9.85.
Liukin scores 9.85, 3.95 out of a perfect 4 in artistic demonstration alone. A fabulous score, and that'll virtually guarantee him the title here at the Subaru Championships. And now, Dmitry Bilozerchev.
I think the crowd is starting to feel sorry for this guy because Bilozerchev is such a wonderfully talented gymnast, but he always ends up having to go up after someone like Liukin, who just really entertained the crowd with something unique. Beautiful release sequence.
Bart, it's hard to feel too sorry for this guy. He's a great gymnast.
One-arm giant swings, 3 in a row. The dismount.
Dmitry Bilozerchev.
And a little personality out of him as well. His wife, by the way, Svetlana, is in the crowd watching this performance.
Let's take a look at the release sequence. This is a reverse heck to a Ginger. That's about as good as it gets. Great form and rhythm.
Total.
So the score for Bilozerchev, a 9.6. A great score on the high bar. That makes his total 47.35. And that score is good enough to keep him in second place in the men's competition. We'll be back with the official results and a word with the winners, Kim Zmeskal and Valerie Liukin. Here are the official results in the women's competition. Kim Zmeskal wins it all with a 29.30 points out of a possible 30. Betty Okino from the U.S. takes second place. Gutsu in third, and Onodi with a bad back ends up in fourth place.
Great pleasure that I reintroduce to you Nadia Comaneci, who is going to present a check for $15,000 to our winner, Kim Zmeskal, and a beautiful pair of dancing diamond earrings that are dancing right up behind us right now. There you go, Nadia. Why don't you take this and give them to Kim?
A fitting tribute, appropriately presented. Let's now take a look at the results in the men's competition. Valery Lyukin wins it. Teammate Bilo Zurchev in second place. Kurt Thomas in third. And the strongman Paul O'Neill in fourth. Bart Connor is with the winner down on the floor.
Valerie, this whole new format, you really turned on to this. Did you learn something about yourself today? I mean, this is a new side of Valery Lyukin we haven't seen. What an entertainer.
Yeah, I did this first time. It's so interesting, you know. I like very much, you know. I just dancing, relaxing, you know. So I can tell you, you know, that's much what I feel, you know. It's so excited.
Now we're going to see you soon in the World Championships in England. Now, how does this compare to traditional gymnastic competition in your mind?
That's different. I think it's a little bit more difficulty for me because it's seriously competition.
Well, we really enjoyed watching you today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
A champion athlete and a champion performer as well. Kathy Johnson is with Kim Zmeskal, who's $15,000 richer.
Kim, I can't remember seeing more smiles either from the gymnasts or the crowd. How much fun was this preparing for it and competing in it?
This was terrific. I really didn't know what to expect from this, but everybody was so much into it. The crowd got into it so much, and it really helped a lot.
Can you believe the guys, the Tarzan suits and the caveman? Is this making you think about next year?
Yeah, I thought it was really great. We didn't know what to expect from anybody, and to see that they really put such an effort for it is really great, and also does give some ideas to everybody else.
Where are we going to see Kim Zmeskal next?
I'm not sure. I know next weekend, you know, we're still continuing with the tours and everything, so we'll still be traveling around.
Okay. Good luck to you. Congratulations.
Well, as the crowd storms the floor to get their autographs, Bart, let me ask you, do you think we'll see more of this format of competition in the future?
Well, I certainly hope so. Although the gymnastics purists might not agree with this type of format, it was a lot of fun. And I think the big winners here, besides people like Kim Zmeskal and Valery Lyukin, was the audience. They really enjoyed seeing these kids as they've never seen them before.
Kathy, what stands out in your mind?
I think I speak for everyone when I say it's a joy to see Kim Zmeskal back in competition, along with Betty Okino, Tatiana Gutsu, Henrietta Onodi, especially seeing them have so much fun.
Well, there's no question about the entertainment value of this event. For my partners, Kathy Johnson and Bart Connor, I'm John Neighbor saying so long from Minneapolis and the Subaru World Open Gymnastics Championships.
The Subaru World Open Gymnastics Championships has been brought to you by the new Subaru Impreza, What to Drive, and by the 25th Anniversary Diamond for a brilliant celebration of your loving marriage. Coming up next on ABC Sports, Indy cars head to the desert to challenge the world's fastest one-mile oval at speeds of almost 200 miles per hour. Racing's top drivers burn up the track at the Valvoline 200. Live from Phoenix International Raceway, next. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.